Thanks for having me back, everybody. It's Tuesday, and I've been away for a little bit, and I thought I would come out and say hello to everybody after Thanksgiving. I know I did some shout-outs for my Detroit Lions over Thanksgiving, and we had a good time. But I wanted to get back to you, and I think everyone needs to know I have a Succession Air channel. It's a group on Facebook. And I did this title this morning briefly with them. And I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about Wire Differently coaching and life and what's going on right now and how it applies to you. And in my Succession Air channel, it's a private group, and people are joining it by invitation. And I hope people are being invited by the amount of time that they follow me on this Facebook channel. So obviously, if your views are up and you're starting to follow me more, you'll get an invite to my private group channel. And I'm excited to have you on there. Roughly about every morning I get up. I get up every morning, but about every morning around between 7 and 8 o'clock, I go live for 7 to 15 minutes. I try to keep it to 7. Today I went a little long because I talked about this very same topic. And the title was a cup of coffee, please. Add a little cream and some revenue. And so I thought, well, I just had this little short story I wanted to tell everybody and talk to them just a little bit about their life, a little bit about what I'm doing, what about they're doing, what about things are going on. And I got to warn you. Can you hear that? Can you hear that, guys out there? Anyways, I have got the greatest framer in the planet. His name is Petey Pete, and he's putting together a special room for me for the Christmas party, which is this Friday. And so everybody's like, I got the tree. I told him no hammer guns. So I don't even know what that is. Petey, what is that? Petey, what it? Come here. No, you got to talk to the crowd now. Come in here. Push that door. Push it and push it out. Yeah, push it out and over. Come in here. You got to meet Petey. Come in here, Petey. Come around here. I asked you no hammer gun. So what was that thing?
You said no hammer.
Come here. Say hi to my crowd of people. Look at this guy. He drives a Harley Davidson. Can you? I said no hammer gun.
Oh.
And what did you say? Hammer?
I thought you said hammer. No hammer. No
what's a hammer?
A hammer.
All right, that's Petey Pete, the best framer in the damn planet. All right, Petey, give me 20 minutes. But you can do whatever you want because you're Petey Pete. I'm done. Anyway, so we got a lot going around here. We got the tree guy going today. We got Petey Pete, the greatest framer of all time, and I'm not mad. I mean, he's a great guy. He's a lot of fun. And I've got the yard guy going. I've got window washing going. I got what else? The electrician's here. So this house is crazy, but I am committed to this Tuesday show. Damn it, I'm bringing it home for the Wire Differently Todd Shares coaching capital of the world, right? So anyways, I said, what was the title I wanted to give you? So the title was this. It was simply this. It's like I wanted to talk about life. I want to talk about some things that I can do with you that I've been through. And so the title I came up with was a cup of coffee, please. Add some cream and revenue. So, I do a lot of personal help and I do the self-help thing and all this, but really Wire Differently is this mindset, this mission, this movement, even a ministry, right? And we're really making a hard move to do all the coaching. We traveled all over the country. I was in 9 cities from East Coast to West Coast, promoting my plight, my way to becoming America's coach. And I want to do it through the entrepreneurial coaching mindset. And so when I was thinking about today, I thought about, a lot of you probably have children out there and you're starting businesses and you're doing business and you're moving through things, not something I haven't already done. And that's kind of the idea of why I want to talk to you and why we're doing this is because, listen, I'm 57 years old. I've been doing this my entire life. I have literally only had one W-2 job in my life. One. And I'm not saying that as a medal or I'm proud of that. I'm just saying that's just a fact. That job, Taco Bell, 1980. 6. Taco Bell. Only W-2 I've ever had in my life. I did it for a year. And I knew that it wasn't for me. I mean, I learned a lot. I learned about systems. I learned about processes. I learned about training. I learned a lot. I mean, it was probably as good of any course I ever took in college. Probably better. It was a master's, really, if you think about it, what they put you through. But the reason I gave you the topic this afternoon is that I want you to understand that I'm still in the arena. Man, I've got 14 organizations. I got 5 that are income producers all day long, brands, national brands, kicking tail, making nummy. And I'm here in this place in my life, and I'm like, I really want Wire Differently to pass on the things that I had learned. And so it started off basically as a love letter to my daughters, the first book, Wire Differently. And then as it started to progress, I felt like this book is really good. I need to really pour my heart. So it went from a 6-month project to an 18-month project. But it's a beautiful, amazing book, Wired Differently. It's changed my life. It's changed the lives for lots of people. Just get online and read the reviews. People read Wired Differently. Hey, I'm wired differently, Todd. Hey, finally someone is telling me that I'm wired differently. Someone's like me, right? And so we created this group, this people, this passion, this following of people that like raise their hand and say, I'm wired differently. I am different. And then I wrote the second book, Drift, again, which talks about how wired differently people are made and why they are the way they are. And now my third book, Your Will Be Done, is how to become aware of your wired differently and how to leverage it and use it and what sets us apart. And so as I talk to you about that journey, it brings me back to the topic of, Todd, what are you talking about? Well, I'm talking to you about a cup of coffee. Now, we've done coffee on this show several times, but this time I want to say a cup of coffee, please. Add some creamer and some revenue, baby, right? And so let's talk about why I'm so passionate about this entrepreneurial mindset, mission, movement, ministry, and coaching of Wired Differently. Because that's all I know. It's all I've done. That's what I've become good at in my life. I'm literally have a proverbial MBA, doctorate in building and starting companies. I keep all my attorneys. I keep all my accountants. I learn. I keep them in the fold, and we keep moving and growing off of one big machine. It's amazing. And the people I've built with me are with me still to this day. Heather's been with me over 15 years. I got to tell you, Sammy, in some ways, has been with me 25 years in soul and spirit. I got to meet these people. Matter of fact, they're all going to be here this Friday. That's why all the hammering. Petey, more hammering, please. We got a deadline to meet. Anyways, by Friday, we have to have all this done for a corporate party. We're flying people in here, and they're coming from all over the parts of the country, and it's just going to be amazing. We're going to have probably 100 people here. It's going to be phenomenal. Now, we have well over that many employees, all over 14 companies, but we're bringing in the executives and predominantly pay serve organization and Wire Differently relationships. A lot of fun. But why do I say a cup of coffee, please? Add some creamer, as Petey would say, creamer, as for and a bunch of revenues, because I want to tell you the story. I was thinking about what I would talk about last week, this week, and I always kind of sometimes go back to when I first met my wife. And a lot of you have probably heard this story about when I met my wife. I was 15 years old, and we were at a track meet, and I was just didn't even know she really existed until my mom and her mom got together and brought her up to meet me while I was pole vaulting. Well, I didn't have time for her. She was beautiful, but I was trying to focus on jumping over the bar and everything. And so I didn't get to spend much time with her, but she went down and I felt bad about it. So then I went down to the track after I got done pole vaulting, and I was 15 years old, and she was down there stretching, and she blew me off because I kind of didn't blow her off, but I was just not focused. Long story short, I love that story of when a man meets a woman or a girl meets a boy, and when those first meetings, right? And so this story churned in my head about a cup of coffee. And so a lot of you have 18-year-old boys or 17-year-old boys, whatever, and they're looking for a friend to date or somebody like that, and you got a cutie patootie daughter, and she's looking for a guy to date. And so just think about this moment. So this message here is, at one point, a young man, he walks into a coffee store with an entrepreneurial mind, and he sees this beautiful young lady working behind the coffee spot. And he notices she has a tip jar right there in front of where she's checking out. We've all been there, done that, Starbucks or wherever we're going to do, 5-star or whatever, Tom's Donuts, the donut capital of the world. We've all been there. They got a young lady working back there, and he sees her and she sees him, and he says, hey, you know what? I was thinking that maybe we should go out on a date. And she said, well, you're here to get coffee, Mr. Such and such or so and so. And he says, no, but I think you're nice and I like you and you're friendly. And he says, I tell you what, you see that tip jar right there that's all, covered, and it's a black tip jar, and it looks the way it looks. She says, yeah. I said, how about, the little boy says to her, he says, how about if I teach you how to double your commissions in 1 week, double your tips in 1 week. And if I do so, I can take you to a movie on Sunday night. And she says, well, I don't know so much about that, but you could double my tips. And he says, I know I can double your tips. And she says, hmm. One date, he says, you know what? It doesn't even need to be a date. I'm just going to show you right now. I'm going to talk to you right now. I'm going to tell you how to double your tips. And if you want to go out on a date with me, that's great. And she says, okay, I'll bite. So the young man looks at her, this cutie patootie, and she kind of looks at him, and they're kind of googly and giggly. And he says, listen, all you need to do is take that colored cup, get rid of it, and get a glass, like a beer mug or something like that, a see-through cup that's twice as tall as that, right? And stick it out here and put all kinds of $1 bills in it. Have some $5 sticking around the bottom, but only fill it 3/4 of the way tall. And she says, really? And he says, I promise you, keep smiling and doing what you're doing, and you will double your commissions in 1 week. And she said, okay, that's fine. And she said, fine. And he says, you know what? I'll take you up on that date. He said, great. They went on the date. And sure as be told, as the story goes, the following week after the date, she adds up her tips and she smokes it, man. Double the tips with just one little piece of advice. Now, many of you are saying, Todd, well, what's this story all about? Well, I'm just telling you, I'm kind of bringing together with the thought process of me and my wife when we first met when we were 15, 16 years old. Nobody was coaching us what to do back then. But these two young lovers fell in love. I don't know how it ended up. It's just a story I'm making up. But if I want to make it up, I think they lived happily ever after. And she made a lot of bank, right? She was running their company and he was out selling for the company, and kind of just like me, right? That's why I love this story. And that's why I love that I can share this with you. It's a funny story about a funny thing, but it's so true. One little coaching advice, one little maneuver, right? And it changed that girl's revenue for the rest of her life, maybe even to marriage, maybe into her income, maybe who knows. And that's what my coaching is geared to do. Life changes, simple moves from experienced people that have done it before and are still in the arena like me. I love that story. I love the fact that it's probably made up, but probably happened to somebody somewhere sometime. And it's completely plausible. But the metaphor is this. I've been married for 34 years. I've been running businesses for 36 years. And I'm going to tell you, the most joyful piece of this last phase in my life of coaching and sharing is the fact that I get to help change lives. I've been doing it a long time, but I haven't been getting paid for it a long time. Wired Differently is this last wild move for Todd. You see, he's got all the companies moving, Heather and Sam, and everybody's running the stuff. Shane's running the donuts. Everybody, things are in their place. I got to keep things aligned. I get up early in the morning, do those. But man, what if I could create a national coaching syndication that can literally help people in a wired differently way improve their entrepreneurial efforts and their businesses? What if? And what if those profit-making maneuvers save their relationships? Save their relationships. Save their marriages. Makes them happy. I mean, this is no lie. The first 5 people I've coached in the Wired Differently methodology, right, were all depressed, just like I was, all having marriages that were struggling, just like mine, all having financial troubles, making their business and their dreams work. So you can call it counseling, you can call it coaching, you can call it talking, you can call it whatever you want. But the bottom line is, anytime you want to get better at something, There are generally people out there that can help you get better at something. We've been paying people from the time we went to school to tell us how to do things and teach us how to get somewhere that we didn't know how to get to until we speak to them because they've done it so many times. So why is it any different when we get older? Why is it any different when we decide to get a college degree? Why do we think we know everything because we just graduated from college? Well, we don't know squat when we graduate from college. We don't know one damn thing. Matter of fact, my friends that didn't go to college, who were in the world kicking ass and taking names before they went to college, I was behind them when it came to street savvy. I was behind them when it came to negotiating and skill tactics. I was behind them in maturity level. I was behind them in a lot of ways. So don't tell me coaching's not for you. You don't have to hire me. I just want you to understand that this young lady who was working in a coffee shop had a schmoozing, nice young man come up to her and was nice enough to say, hey, if I double your tips, would you go out to see a movie with me? And you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to show you anyways. And they lived happily ever after is the way I tell the story. So let me explain something to you. In my marriage of 34 years, the only time we've really, really, really struggled was when I ran out of money. Now, I said I ran out of money, right? We were together. We were yoked. But that was the most traumatizing on our marriage, the most trapped feeling, the most helpless feeling. And it was because I was running and building a company that I didn't quite know what I was doing. And we figured it out. We worked it out. And over time, I got help and pushed and pulled and prodded in different ways. But my wife stuck through with it. But a lot of marriages and relationships just can't make it through those types of things. I love you, honey, but I can't live with you anymore. I love you, honey, but I just can't take the way you talk to me anymore. I love these children. I love everything that we aspired to, but I just can't be that way anymore. I can't take the stress. I can't go to bed every night wondering if we're going to make rent or we're going to make the bills or we're going to be able to pay our taxes or we're going to be able to make payroll taxes. It was awful. I remember, listen, where is it? I remember taking this one and this one. And I don't know how many I got. And this one, right? I remember going to credit card after credit card. Whoop, declined. Whoop, declined. Whoop, declined. How many times? And I want to be your coach, but I also want to be honest with you. When you want somebody that's been there, who's overextended and dug his ass out of it, when you want somebody who's leveraged everything they've had more than once and bet everything on red at Vegas, I don't know how smart that is, but sometimes you got to be willing to blow the deal to make the deal. Can't you see that there's people out there that are different like you, and I'm wired differently? My job is to help you get through these moments and to use these spidey senses that you have, these gifts, these superpowers, and understand how to manage your way through these times and difficulties. If you're making a great living and you got everything figured out, you might say, I don't need a coach. But I can also tell you this. You could probably afford one. And wouldn't it be nice to know what your next level would look like if you aren't thinking about it with someone that could help put you there, maybe help you see some things so you can keep that lead? Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. So the title of the conversation was this: hey, can I have a cup of coffee, please? Add some creamer and a bunch of revenue. And that's exactly what that young man did. He added revenue to that cup of coffee and he created a relationship. And I want to create a relationship with you. Now, is this a big commercial? Yeah, kind of, I guess it is. But it's more about an infomercial, man. I want you to understand that, because the hardest thing for me in all of this wired differently process I'm going through was to actually ask for business. I felt like I was too good to ask for business. I thought I was, I don't want for much or anything, really, to be honest with you. it's just hard. I didn't want to be seen like a pillow guy. I don't want to seem like the guy who does the caulk and seals boats with the spray. I don't want to be that guy. I do want this to be a mission. I do want it to be a mindset. I do want these things for you, but I have to come out and ask for it. And I haven't had to ask for things, but I wanted to tell you why I'm asking for it. Because I remember these problems, and honestly, I went to lunch today and this card right here, what made me think about this, see this Amex right here? Got declined. And all the nerves in my body took me right back to 1989, 1990 when I had my first 2 babies and I was messing up in my first businesses and I had no credit and all my credit cards were full and it was like Russian roulette when you went to try and buy something for the family, lunch or dinner or a toy. Well, that card was declined because there's fraud on it, and I'd forgotten that I called it in, and I've been out there using it, and it's got declined, and I felt that feeling, and it made me think about this because so I could get real with you. I mean, it was like my whole body took me right back to when I was 30 years old. I swear, I know I look 30 right now, right? But the point of the matter is, it took me all the way back to almost 25 years, right? Almost 30 years. Geez, you do the math. Oh my goodness. And I was right in that same place again. Not able to buy the lunch or whatever it was, but more importantly, I was able to feel that feeling of desire or desperation of what am I going to do? Right? It all came back. So if you're there, I'm okay with it. I think I don't almost think it's great in some ways because I know exactly what to do to get you out of that place. If you're there and you're extended and your marriage is tough, and I'm not going to fix your marriage as much as I'm going to be able to fix the business, which is the beginning of the problem of your stress and your problems, right? I do feel passionate about it, and I do want those things. So listen, give me a cup of coffee, please. Add some creamer and lots of revenue wire differently style. So I want to end this with energy. I want you to understand I do care about you. I do love you. I do want to help you through these times. Listen, if you got it all figured out, man, that's great. But if you don't, and if you do, even if you do, give me a call. Abby's going to follow up on those calls. We'll set up a time and I'll show you the system and how we're going to do it. And we're going to make it fun and easy for you. So listen, I want you to go to toddsaylor.com. That's toddsaylor.com, SAYLOR, Todd, TODDSAYLOR.com. And I also want you to register for a free retreat. We haven't announced the date yet, but sometimes in 2023, we're going to be inaugurating our coaching retreat at the famous Tiki Hut, right? And we're going to go out in a yacht and we're going to have 2 days, part of it on the ocean, part of it IMG training and some extra special surprises. We're going to have a blast. And I want to make sure that you get registered to win and come out here free. That means I'm going to fly you Delta. I'm going to put you up at the IMG Academy, all your food and all your Uber expenses, everything. Nothing out of pocket, just me and you and the Wired Differently coaching crew on the oceans of Anna Marie Island. I mean, I don't know why you're not signing up right now. Get the win there. But we're also going to have some default people who don't win that we're going to do discount packages. We're going to have 5 people on that trip. So it's going to be fun. I want you to register for that. And then I want you to start following me. I want you to start following me on these coaching practices. I want you to start give me likes and clicks and let me help, man, because I do really care about you guys. Share this if you like. I'd love it. Let's get this thing going on. I know I poured out a little bit of my heart today for you, and I told Chad I would do this in under 30 minutes. And, I don't always like to make Chad the bad guy, but he is. He's a great guy, but he's always cracking the whip. He says, you got to ask him for hearts and likes. You got to ask him for shares. He's constantly on me. You got to do this. You got to, and he's right. So, hey, give me some hearts, give me some likes, share this. And more importantly, go to toddsaylor.com, register for the retreat. And hey, go there and you can click on coaching. And there's an application on there. I'm taking new clients. 22 has been amazing, but for 23, we're taking new clients. and we've got several coaching processes for you. We've got a high-end one-on-one coaching program, and we have an MBA virtual product that doesn't really require me much at all. I send you all my coaching in a program every week. You're going to get a video and a training, and I will meet with you 3 times in a year over that coaching. It's extremely affordable, and you're going to be blown away on what I can do for you on that virtual MBA coaching, right? For you entrepreneurs. It's amazing, right? All right, Christmas is coming around. If you want to pick up my book, there's a bundle package for all the books and all the workbooks, all the audio, all the ebooks. It's crazy. $47. Anyways, love you guys. Listen, I'm going to be kind of sparse through the end of the year, but I will not forget you. I'll be back on. But I want you to understand, a cup of coffee, please, a little creamer, and a lot more revenue, because I just called Wired Differently Todd Saylor Coaching. All right, I love you guys. Have a great day. We're going to have a great party, and I'll get back to you one more time before Friday. Let's have a good time. All right, everybody, I'm out. Have a great day. Let's do this thing.